What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Game of the Week show. I am your host, Matt Southwell, and joining me this week, before we mix it up, Ashley Dye and Dan Gilbert. It's been a while since the three of us have been together. Almost 7 whole days.
I know.
Have you missed me?
Nah.
I see you every day at work.
Yeah. You can still miss me. It's been like over 12 hours now.
Oh.
I know. I'd miss me if I wasn't out for 12 hours. Anyway. Right, we've got, hopefully, fingers crossed, an efficient show for you today.
I think so.
We're going to try and tighten the time. I had a comment from someone this week. He's like, who the hell would listen to the three of you talk for over half an hour about video games? He's like, I clicked on it because you said I'd be a video game star, and it was just the three of you talking. I was like, what do you want? So I don't know what you want. If you want us to be more entertaining, doing backflips or something, maybe wearing some funny hats or what sort for Grand National time entry.
Oh yeah.
Did you win any money?
Yeah, I've got like 5.
But this is going up on Monday. So did you win money? I won a shed load of money.
Yeah.
All of my horses were top 5. Anyway, we're doing well with the efficiency so far.
Yeah.
Game of the Week show is a weekly show that the three of us do. We'll get together every Monday to talk about the latest news stories in the video game industry. We'll then also go through the game releases for that week before picking our favourite game of the week. If that sounds like something you're interested in, please subscribe to our channel, share us with your friends. Don't turn off just yet, because we have some exciting news to come for you. And first up, we have the announcement of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. So this is a 4th game in their series, if we don't count crappy mobile games, because let's be honest, we don't really. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's first person in its primary, but it also has like kind of third person cover system, and there's some RPG elements in there. It's kind of a nice little hybrid game, and this is going to be set 2 years after the last main game, Human Revolution. And I don't know what you guys thought of the trailer, but I thought it looked pretty cool.
It does look good. I mean, I'm totally new to the series, and I've not played any of the previous games, but I must admit the trailer really does make the game look good, and I think really does it justice and sells it. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on how this progresses and any future news on this.
Yeah, I mean, like, this series, Dan, has been very well regarded. Not kind of maybe commercially huge, but if you look at the ratings of all of these games, like kind of on Metacritic, they're always kind of high 80s and 90s, which is obviously very, very good. So
that's what you want from a franchise, isn't it? Just consistency, but good consistency rather than like we just churn out crap every year kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not kind of an annualized franchise, is it? Yeah. They obviously take their time. This last one was 2011, and this is no way going to be a 2015 game.
No.
They haven't given us a date, but there's no way it's 2015.
Yes.
So
that's fair to say.
Hopefully, something good for us to look forward to. Maybe next year. Do you think that's a bit optimistic? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to think it next year.
I think it's possible. So. It's like at the very worst holiday times next year.
Do you find it really depressing that we're talking about games that have just been announced and won't be out for another 18 months?
Yeah, I know, but I remember when there were games like GTA 5 announced and Uncharted 3 was announced and things like that, and just thinking, oh my god, it's 2 years away, and then before I knew it, 2 years had passed and the game was coming out. It was just, the Far Cry 4 was the same. I just remember, where I was when that was announced, and then it seemed like only a few months and it was out.
The time will pass.
Yeah, it does pass because we have so many games to play now, but I still think that it'd be better if we just had, if this game was being announced now, my opinion is if it's being announced now, it should be out sometime this year. You should never announce a game more than a year away. Why do we care?
What would you you'd rather have like the release trailer than a month later the game kind of thing?
Maybe not quite a month, because I understand they've got to build it up, especially for people like maybe you're not familiar with it, or especially if it's a new IP. Obviously, you've got to drum the hype up, but there's a balance, isn't there?
Yeah, you do kind of want to build some anticipation and some hype and get people talking about the game. But I think there is a certain, window in which you should do that. I think the really big games, the really big AAA titles can get away with a 2-year window. I mean, we look at Uncharted. I mean, that's not going to be far off 2 years for announcing that. So, but they can get away with that because it's such a big name. As GTA can, they could give bloody 3-4 years, and people would still be hyped for the entire 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, like games like that as well. We always know they're coming out anyway.
Yeah.
So that we we know there's going to be a GTA 6. They don't need to tell us.
Yeah, true.
So it's finding the balance. It just sometimes some games I don't get impatient for waiting for them because we always
don't get impatient
for video games.
You're the least patient person I know.
This is true.
The silence answers that question.
I was trying to come up with something witty, but it's still too early in the morning. I have nothing. But my point is, I can wait because there's so many other games to play. But I don't like being told about here's something that looks really awesome, but you can't have it. It's like as a kid, isn't it?
Yes.
Like when you find out your parents have bought you your Christmas presents or birthday presents, it's like I have to find these. They're in here somewhere. I'll always remember I found it was an ECW game for the PlayStation that I know I'd asked for. My mum told me that she'd bought it. Well, not bought it, but she bought my presents. So I went hunting and I found it, and I took it out and played it. And then I thought I put it back where it was, but I didn't. And then I ended up not getting it for my birthday because she was like, "You went and stole it before you were supposed to."
Stole your own present.
So anyway, so much, we're going well with efficiency. Let's move on.
Right. Yeah.
So obviously Deus Ex was a nice surprise. Something that isn't a surprise whatsoever though is there's another Call of Duty game coming out this year. Shock. Horror. It's been announced by Activision this week that it's going to be Black Ops 3, as was probably expected by a few people because they seem to alternate their kind of... I mean, obviously Advanced Warfare was new.
That's basically just the next series though, isn't it? Because they were done with Modern Warfare, so it's like now Advanced Warfare, and then it'll be Future Warfare, and then it'll be some other kind of thing, and you're going to sneeze, aren't you?
I felt like I was. I got it. I'm holding it together. I'm sure that face looks amazing on camera. But no, so we don't know a huge amount about it, other than it obviously is coming this year. There's a full world reveal coming on April 26th, so we'll probably have a lot more information towards the end of the month, but we can probably expect the return of the zombie mode that everyone's so excited for, because Black Ops is where it kind of really started to hit its stride.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a nice change of pace. A lot of people like that mode. We have so many zombies, don't we? But
yeah, it's like I think we've reached saturation point.
Yeah, I
don't think so. I think it's going to keep going and going and going. People love zombies. They never...
Yeah, I know they're going to keep going, but I just think it's like, isn't there something else now that
maybe
I can try?
Well, look, we got The Walking Dead now having a spin-off as well. It's just they're going to keep going. Like zombies, it's never going to die.
I'm just thinking, actually, looking back to Red Dead Redemption, they did a zombie DLC.
Yeah.
Which I
that was awesome.
And yeah, I mean, that's a good 4 or 5 years ago that they've been having these zombie DLCs at least, and it's been going longer than that, so
yeah,
I don't know if it will ever end, but there's always some form of zombie DLC or add-on, or
it is what it is, isn't it? If people buy it, they'll keep selling it. Moving on then, maybe something else you would buy, Ash, I don't know.
No, I don't
but
know.
The Swiss retailer CD, I think, or CD.
CD?
No, it's got to be French, isn't it, if it's Swiss? CD? That's not very French. I don't know. Anyway.
One of those.
They listed a remastered trilogy of Uncharted on their site this week. It slated a release date of September 30th. They very quickly took it down after probably being told off for having it up there, but we don't have this announced, but we've kind of joked about it coming out, and now with Uncharted being pushed to 2016, does this look like something that maybe is likely?
I think it's on the cards. Yeah.
We talked about it and said it would make sense that if you've got a whole new generation of like PlayStation users, because obviously migrating over to the current gen, going from Xbox 360 to the PlayStation,
coming from the dark side.
Yep. You're opening up the possibility of them being able to play the entire run of the story.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it's a
one
an
that makes
amazing
sense.
series, and I think that it's always going to appeal to new gamers and to those that haven't. It's got such a good.
It's generation defining. Wasn't it?
It is, yeah.
You know
it
that.
is.
I mean, if it wasn't for The Last of Us, I would say that Uncharted 3 was probably the best game of the last generation.
Mm.
I mean, it's obviously says loads for Naughty Dog in their pedigree, but do you spent a lot of hours with Uncharted? I think it's fair to say it's well documented that you spent many hours. Would you purchase this and spend more hours with it?
I probably would, just because my love for Nathan Drake and his.
Is that why you style yourself?
I don't know. I do love the games. I love the gameplay. I like the story. I like the characters. Yeah, I mean, just every aspect of the game I really like. I mean, the villains have been good. The story's been good. They follow on nicely from one to another. You see, old characters coming into new games, and it's really nice. You almost feel like you've followed Nathan from his first from the very first Uncharted right through, which I'm sure will continue in the final game in 2016. But I would buy it. Yeah,
I would probably buy it as well.
I'd buy it for the simple fact that I never played the first one.
Mm.
So
what? You didn't play the?
I never played the first one.
First game.
It's like I don't know how I missed Uncharted originally, but it's like I ended up.
Did you maybe not have your PS3 or something at the time? Because it was quite early in the release window. It was.
Yeah.
It wasn't launch, but it was. The console came out March 2007.
Yeah.
And then I think the game. I got my console for Christmas that year, and I got the game with it, so it must have come out that year.
Unless I got mine early 2008.
Yeah, that would make sense because it was 2007, then 2009, and 3 was 1/11/11, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's actually 8 years old now. The first game.
Yeah, but no,
Crazy.
I just for whatever reason I just ended up missing it. So it'd be the perfect way for me to actually play the whole series.
I would.
I missed one, so I must buy all 3.
I would bet money it will definitely happen before the new Uncharted game comes out.
It would also help them.
How much do I bet?
50 quid.
Let's face it, it will help them shift 4 as well.
They don't need help shifting it. It's just
No,
cash.
it will, because some people will be like, I've not played the rest of the series. But if they've played the rest of the series,
That's
jumping
true.
into
There are some
4,
people, yeah.
It will bring people into. Yeah, I think it'll be sold on a lot of new people that haven't been introduced to it.
Yeah, they probably
they'll
are.
want to finish the story off by playing 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find
I'm
it
not
weird.
talking a massive market, but it'll help.
I find it weird that people could have not played that trilogy, but I suppose a lot of people don't have multiple consoles, so
Yeah.
you know we've got Dan over there has never played Halo, so stranger things have happened. Hey, there's no Xbox stories this week. I had to get it in.
You had to get it in.
I had to get it in somehow. We'll move on then, and the next one on our list, we've got an update from Nintendo. Always nice to talk about them from time to time.
Yeah.
They had a big direct event last week. A lot of information came out, but the one I wanted to pick out, which I thought looked quite cool, was Mario Kart 8 is getting a new update which gives you 200cc racing. The Mario Kart's always been 50cc, 100cc and 150cc. So now those extra CCs. It makes the game pretty fast. We've seen the trailer.
It does.
It's crazy how much quicker it is.
Yeah.
And I don't have the Wii U yet, but yet being very important.
Yeah.
I will eventually buy it. I will.
I'm on the same fence as you, I think, because after looking at that trailer, I think I said to you both, off air beforehand, that I'm really sold on this game. I mean, it's been so many years since I've played Mario Kart that I don't know. I just kind of feel it'd just be a nice game just to relax and play.
Well, for mere price of 250 quid, you can.
I know it does. It looks good, and I think they're fun games. You don't have to take them too seriously, and they're just so refreshing. They look really good. They're very colourful. Just a bit of fun.
Yeah, it does. It actually, also, it's probably one of the best looking games out now.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive considering the power of the Wii U versus the consoles we have for PS4 and Xbox One. But it looks really good, and I would imagine that it's going to be quite hard to manoeuvre corners at full speed with this new 200. I don't know.
I read that it basically relied on your skills for braking and drifting more than going flat out.
Braking? You don't brake in Mario Kart, do you?
I think you have to
Apparently
now.
you do now.
No, you don't. I can safely say I have never used, in racing, I've never used a brake in my life. The only time I've ever used a brake is in like the battle modes if you want to do a quick 180. But I've never used a brake in racing in my life.
I think you might need to now, Matt.
Nah, it's fine. Just drift for longer.
I'll buy one this week. I'll get Mario Kart 8, and you can come around mine and we'll give it a...
Alright. You heard it. It's recorded. It's evidence. No going back
on record.
I'll get a Wii U this week.
And you have to buy all the controls as well so we can all play.
Yeah, right.
Alright, landing out the news this week, and Rockstar have been in the news again. There's been an exploit in GTA Online recently where certain players have been able to bring over like a rare car from single player into the GTA Online, which is not supposed to be there. So Rockstar aren't particularly happy with people cheating, but they decided to not ban them from the servers because that would be... Maybe they consider...
Effort.
Well, no, I think what they've done is more effort.
I know.
But I think they figured just, let's have some fun with these people. So when they've now created a scenario that whenever people go in, try and get into this car, the car blows up and they die. So basically they are blowing up cheaters.
Yeah.
And I thought this was quite an entertaining story to end with this week. And, it's just Rockstar again.
I always like it when I see companies have done these sort of things where it's just like, we're going to grief you over this rather than just cut you off. So therefore, the more you try it, the worse it's going to be for you.
Yeah.
The car is the Duke o' Death.
Yes.
Duke of Death.
Duke of Death.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a Duke of Hazard car, but like almost like a tank.
Yeah,
like
so it's
plated.
heavy armoured.
It is, yeah.
So I guess a lot of people...
Supercharged.
Where do you get this in single player? Because I've never... I saw the video.
It's ported, so I read that it comes over, so it says here, the Duke of Death is a car that you get from upgrading from last gen GTA to current gen GTA.
Oh, what you've done?
That means I have it, do I?
I've come across it just driving around as Trevor.
Okay.
Like around sort of like his way.
It is a supercharged, high output V8 engine capable of providing excellent torque and top speed.
Cool. It did look like a really good car to maybe use for like heists, which is obviously why people have now started trying to use it because it's heavily armoured, it's powerful, it's fast.
Yes.
But off the first heist, you actually get an armoured car anyway, which is very similar. So I think that's why that one's not in there.
So
Plus in single player, whenever I've jumped into it, a whole load of people have aggroed on me and gone after me. So
I like it says the Duke of Death is able to ram and push other vehicles off the road with ease, and the car's bodywork is very strong. Crash deformation is very minimal. It has the best durability traits in its class.
Awesome. I like that crash deformation. But no, I just thought this was a really, well played to Rockstar. Because, but the only problem with doing this is, does it not make you want to try and exploit the game more just so you can be blown up? No, is that just me?
no, because
You're not benefiting anything from it, are
the
you?
thing is you're hurting your in-game character in the sense of like every time you die, you have to pay the hospital fees, and every time you try and get that car back again to try and use it again, you're paying your insurance. So you're basically just kicking yourself in your digital wallet.
That's true. But no, well played to Rockstar anyway. And that's pretty much it on the news front this week. So we will move on to the game releases now. Quite a few games, but also actually quite a lot that we spoke about last week. So touch wood, we might get through these reasonably quickly. I know I say that every week and then we end up speaking for about 20 minutes about the games, but we'll see how it goes. First up, on the PlayStation 4 this week, we have Bastion, which is an action RPG game. It's coming from the guys at Supergiant Games. If you don't know their name, you might recognise Transistor, which is actually their more recent game. Bastion was their first game. It was initially on the PC, but it's now finally made its way onto the PS4. You control a character which is simply known as the Kid. Obviously, didn't want to give him a name. I thought his name was Sebastian, to be honest, when the game was called Bastion, but there you go. And he basically moves around like this fancy themed environment. It's kind of like a 2D world, and apparently there's a it's very colourful, and there's also like kind of this unique kind of narrator which kind of describes stuff as you go along. And it's supposed to be very, very good. I don't know if it's particularly my kind of game. I need to still play Transistor first because we got that for free, didn't we, as PlayStation Plus. I don't know if I'm gonna go out on a limb and figure that you guys might be in the similar boat to me.
Yeah. Pretty sure it's in my library. I just haven't downloaded it.
Yeah. And like Bastion, is that one that appeals to you really, or
not off first glance, but that doesn't mean after looking at it a bit more, maybe my opinion will change slightly.
Yeah, it's well regarded, but I just don't think it's not our kind of game, really, is it? It's
definitely not my kind of game. No, I mean, looking at the game, I'm not gripped. I'm not excited for it. I'm not. Yeah,
but
just not sold.
I know there's a lot of people out there that are excited for this. Maybe have played it on the PC or always wanted to play it, so that's now out there on the PlayStation Network for you all to check out. Next up, we have Elemental, or Element 4L, depending on how you want to pronounce it, for the PlayStation Vita. This is a pretty weird game. When I was watching the trailer at first, it was another one of these. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Then I read a bit more. Basically, you control one of the elements and you have to guide them through kind of worlds and kind of make them meet up with the other elements so you can combine to make, I guess, compounds? Is that right? Oops. Anyway, joined up elements that give them extra powers to navigate through the world. It's a bit weird. It's very much, I think, at home on the Vita. It looks like a kind of game that would fit on the Vita.
It's definitely on the right platform there, being on the Vita.
And it looks interesting. It might be one that I check out, but it's not one that was on my radar before this week, though. Let's put it that way. There was not maybe a huge amount of PR behind it.
No, I hadn't heard of it before I saw that it had been released this week. But it is something I think that is well suited for the Vita, and I think depending on it's one of those games where I'd like to sort of play a demo of and just get an idea and a feel for the game, whether it's a game I really want, because I can't really gauge enough from watching a trailer on whether it's a game for me or not. I mean, parts of it look good, but whether it's something I'd really enjoy playing is...
I mean, I know what you mean. Like, I mean, there's walkthroughs and stuff, but you can still... Watching a game and playing a game is two very different things.
Yeah.
And I do miss trailers. You know, I would like to hope that maybe one day they might kind of introduce some sort of like trial system.
I assume you mean you miss
demos.
What did I say?
Trailers.
You said trailers.
Yeah, demos.
You miss demos.
I miss demos. I miss trailers as well. I can't watch every trailer. There's too many of them. But no, I do miss. I'd like to think that maybe somewhere down the line we might kind of get like trial versions where you can maybe play a game for like half an hour just to kind of see.
I know some games still do release that way, but it's not common.
Screenrite did.
There's very few demos.
There's not many, but there are the odd one or two that have the free demos. Yeah.
We'll move on then. There's a few games now coming up that we already spoke about last week, so we won't go into huge details on them. But Stealth Inc. 2, it was actually on Xbox One last week. It's now on the PlayStation family, PS3, PS4, Vita. It was a puzzle platform game we talked about, like a little kind of alien trying to get through the world and everything. It looked pretty cool. But the big thing I would say, if you were interested in it, look at getting the bundle on PlayStation, because you can get Stealth Inc. 1 and 2 for only an extra £2.
Yeah.
It's like £11 for one game or £13 for two games. It's like, to me, it makes sense to just buy the bundle.
It does.
If you're interested. Also, we talked about last week was Aaru's Awakening, which is now out as part of the PlayStation Plus. So that one's free. No excuse to not get that. PS3, PS4. Have either of you guys had a chance to play this one yet?
No.
Not yet.
No. Not me.
No.
I spent all my time playing the next one, which was Towers of Guns, which was also PlayStation Plus, so is out this week. So PlayStation Plus doing well, giving us the new game releases again.
Yeah,
which is
Tower of Guns is something I think I'm going to enjoy playing. You said you played it briefly.
I played half an hour. It's okay. I didn't really know what I was doing because it just kind of throws you straight into the game. And I know you
that's
basically
what they said about the game though. It's got no backstory. It just throws you in and tells you to shoot.
Yeah, but like I was in this room basically, and there was a door that needed to open, and I thought like the door would open once I cleared the room, and I cleared the room, and the door wasn't opening, and I was like, well, what do I do now?
Did you try walking up to it and pressing the button to open the door?
There's no button to open the door, or is there? I don't know. It doesn't tell you the controls. It just assumes that you know the controls as well.
All right. Okay.
So
did you try pressing square or X?
Yes, and it jumped.
Right.
Right. Well, I'll have some fun with that as well. Then.
Yeah, it's good fun though. Like it's a very, if you want just a shooting game that you don't have to worry about or think about, just shoot things, then I think this is a game that you'll enjoy, and it's free. So well, as long as you have PlayStation Plus, which if you don't, you really need to kind of question your choices in life. I was like, come on, it's like one of the best value things you can get in video games.
It is.
And also, I would say, just very quickly on Aaru's Awakening, even though I haven't played it yet, it does look very pretty with the art style.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more up your street than mine, but it does look like a very sort of delicately
put together.
Yeah,
I will be checking it out probably over the next week or so once I've got a chance. Moving on, we have another baseball game. It seems like very much deja vu from last week, doesn't it?
It is.
So we've got RBI Baseball now for the Xbox One. So we talked about MLB The Show last week for PlayStation, obviously made by Sony. So therefore, if you're on the Xbox One and you want to play baseball, just buy a PS4. That's basically what we're saying. I mean, this
or go outside and play actual baseball.
Or play actual baseball. All rounders. They're all the same thing. But this game is actually developed and published by MLB, which I thought is quite interesting. That one of the major kind of sport bodies, I suppose, sport bodies actually developed the game. But apparently, this game is not very good. If you want a baseball game, this is not the one that you should be buying.
No, it looks pretty terrible, if I'm honest, from what I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's a better game than I could make.
Yeah, but it looks similar to something that I think I owned on the Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah, it's
in terms of the complexity and so on of what was happening.
Yeah. What did we have last week? We had MLB The Show and
was it like Super Mega Baseball or something?
Yeah, something like that, wasn't it? A cartoony sort of one.
Yeah, Super Mega Baseball.
Yeah.
Which looked quite good. But no, I was watching some MLB this week, trying to understand the game because I don't really understand how baseball works. And one thing I watched this guy play it for about 20 minutes. I still didn't really understand what was going on. There's all these different like pitches and stuff like that.
Don't you just take the ball and run? It's just
rounders.
rounders.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And like they're throwing the balls different ways and stuff. I don't know, but it looked a very pretty game. Like it looked really like the presentation on it was right up there, one of the best I've seen in like a sports game. So, but anyway, another new game. Well, not a new game. We talked about this one 2 weeks ago.
We have mentioned it, yeah.
Ride initially came out for PlayStation on retail, now digital available, but also for the first time available on Xbox One. This was a motorbike or motorcycle racing game, made a load of MotoGP games. Wasn't overly convinced on the visuals of this game when we watched it. It didn't really look new gen.
It just wasn't crisp, was it? It wasn't detailed. No. It didn't have that feel of what you'd expect. It wasn't like a Forza looking game, was it? By any stretch.
But one thing I will say, and I will be now checking out, I noticed last night that there is a demo of Ride on the Xbox One.
Okay.
So if you have an Xbox, you can check this game out for free. Dan, I know this was a pick of the week. Oh, Matt, I wonder where you could be going with this one. So 2 weeks ago, you picked this as your game of the week. Obviously, you maybe didn't want to buy it straight up. So if you don't want to buy the game, if you buy an Xbox,
I can then check out the game.
You can then check out the game for free.
I see your logic,
so really, you're saving money in the long run. Unless you like the game, in which case you'll have to buy it. But yeah, we've got that. And then last but not least, not really a new release game, but I figured I'd include it in releases for EA Access members, again on the Xbox One only. Xbox One exclusive, EA access. NHL 15 has been added to the vault, so it's not new, but it could be new to some of you guys that you can now download for free. No reason to not go and check that one out if you have EA access, which you should do because it's pretty good value now. I would say we've got all of the sports games, all of the EA sports games in there, all of this year's versions with the exception of FIFA as well.
Yeah, I need to look at that because I'm not sure how far back the EA games go with that. Are they how?
Well, basically they add games into the vault on an ad hoc basis, but once they're in there, they stay there.
Okay.
It's obviously all new gen only so far.
Yeah.
There's no golf in there.
Yeah, I was just thinking if they added in some of the old, like really old, like
no,
games,
it's all new gen only. We've got Madden 25 and Madden 15. Mm-hmm. We have FIFA 14, Battlefield 4, Plants vs Zombies, NBA Live 15, NHL 15, UFC. I'm just listing these off the top of my head. I don't have them written down.
Okay. You're doing well.
Need for Speed Rivals. Was it Rivals last one?
Yeah, Rivals. Yeah,
I think so.
I think that's everything.
I was keen on it.
So yeah, it's basically all their sports games plus Battlefield, Plants vs Zombies, and Need for Speed.
Yeah.
But no, it's
so far anyway.
I mean, it's £30 a year. So
yeah, actually, it's not
for you kind of more casual sports fans out there.
Yeah.
This is perfect because you don't need to buy a sports game every year. You just pay this annual subscription, and then you can still keep up to date or almost up to date with their games.
Yeah.
I think this is it's
a
really good platform.
For less than £2.50 a month, it's
pretty
good.
It's pretty good. So that's it on the games. Like I said, not a huge amount of new ones this week. Really, only kind of Bastion and Elemental were I suppose an RBI were like kind of new. But of the games that have technically been released this week, guys, what are your picks of the week? Your game of the week?
Tower of Guns.
Yeah,
I think that's the one out of all of that I actually feel like I want to check out.
Yeah,
straight away.
Yeah, it looks good fun.
Others might convince me down the line, but that's the only one that I'm straight away going. Yeah, I'll play that.
I think for me, if I'm honest and say what would I want to play, I think the only thing I'm really interested in playing out of this week's games is Tower of Guns. It intrigues me. It looks fun. Everything else, I don't know. I'm just not. It's either a game that just doesn't appeal to me, or it's a game that just doesn't look good. Between all of those this week,
it's good though, isn't it? To finally have a week where there's not a load of new games you want to play.
It is nice to just take a breather from new games and actually just catch up on all the. We've had a busy few months, start of the year, January, February, March, and it has been very busy.
Yeah, we should be dying down a little bit now until June. We got Witcher in May.
Yeah.
And then other than that, there's a couple
Batman.
of things. It then moves to June basically.
Yeah.
So for the next month, you might be able to catch up on your back catalogues.
I think so. Yeah, I've got just finished Battlefield Hardline and got Wolfenstein and things like that to play.
Wolfenstein,
Stein, whatever.
It's German. Stein. Anyway, okay. Good choices. I'm also going with Tower of Guns. So unanimous for the first time in a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. We never agree on anything.
No.
So we should end the show right now. It's not going to get any better than that. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you have enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. Let us know in the comments down below if you're interested in any of the games this week, or what you thought of any of the new announcements or potential announcements, what you think of all of those, and we will respond to you. But for now, Ash, Dan,
cheers guys.
Thank you for your time as always.
Cheers.
And everyone out there, we will see you next Monday.